Linus Van Pelt attempts to ride down a snowy hill on a box, only to crash repeatedly. Charlie Brown tries to sell wreaths door to door with little success. Sally Brown offers to help, but does not have any more success than her brother. Finally, she comes up with a better way to show off the wreaths by having Snoopy pose with them on his nose. Linus passes a snowman that appears to be playing the flute. Turns out the Woodstock is under the hat, providing the music that's being heard. Peppermint Patty worries about her Christmas book report. First, she calls Charlie Brown asking for suggestions on how to get out of it. Then she watches A Tale of Two Cities on TV so she will not have to read the book. But she was confused by the parts of the shampoo, the soap, and the coffee, which were commercials. Then she tries to make an excuse for not reading the book, claiming her grandfather said, "If you read too many books, your head would fall off." So Marcy offers to help by holding on to Peppermint Patty's head. Then Peppermint Patty goes outside to build a snowman, claiming she must give him life. Lastly, she calls Marcy to ask what book they were supposed to read during the Thanksgiving vacation, only for Marcy to remind her that it is Christmas vacation and that Easter is coming. Peppermint Patty and Marcy attend a performance of George Frederick Handel's Messiah. Marcy's attempt to stand during the Hallelujah chorus result in her getting stuck in her chair. The next day, Peppermint Patty is writing a report on the experience, but since neither she nor Marcy knows Handel's first name, she says it was written by Joe Handel. Snoopy is playing the role of a corner Santa, except instead of ringing a bell, he uses a horn. Linus passes another musical snowman, and this time finds Woodstock and his bird friends as a string quartet underneath the hat. Sally Brown is writing an English theme about the true meaning of Christmas, but believes the true meaning is getting all you can get while getting is good. It ignores Charlie Brown's insistence that Christmas is the joy of giving. She then writes her Christmas list, but asks Charlie Brown how to spell his name. Much to his chagrin, "I'm your brother, and you don't even know how to spell my name?" She ultimately puts his name down as Sam, since she knows how to spell that. Finally, while writing a letter to Santa Claus, she's inspired to write instead to his wife, "Merry Christmas," and congratulates her on deciding to keep her own name. Sally Brown discovers all the candy canes missing from the Christmas tree. Charlie Brown suggests she look outside because it turns out Snoopy and his bird friends had taken the canes in order to perform a dance number. Linus tries to explain the true meaning of Christmas to Sally Brown, quoting the same passage he used this previous Christmas. However, Sally pays no attention to him, instead of worrying more about her Christmas shopping, frustrating Linus. He then attempts to explain what a calling bird is referring to in the 12 Days of Christmas, referring to David's usage of the term in the Bible. However, Sally just complains that she'll get crazier if she gets socks again for Christmas, frustrating Linus further. He then shares about how Albert Schweitzer dreaded the thought of getting Christmas gifts because he hated having to write thank you notes. Once again, however, Sally misses the point because she has no idea who Albert Schweitzer is. Charlie Brown wants to buy Peggy Jean a nice pair of gloves, but they cost $25. After agonizing over whether or not to buy them for her, he attempts to sell an autographed Joe Garagiola baseball, only to find no takers. He then sells his entire comic book collection to get the money. However, Peggy Jean has already bought a new pair of gloves by her mother, so Charlie Brown does not give her the gloves. Why give her something she already has? He does manage to salvage the situation by giving the gloves to Snoopy so they do not go to waste. The children participate in a Christmas play where Marcy plays the Virgin Mary. Franklin gets the role of Gabriel. Peppermint Patty reluctantly plays a sheep, so she forgets her line and ad-libs other animal sounds, much to the laughter of the audience. And Sally plays an angel, who has to say the line, "Hark," but inadvertently says, "Hockey stick." Later, a boy named Harold Angel drops by Charlie Brown's house looking for Sally. When Lucy tries to force Linus out of a beanbag chair, he reminds her that on Christmas Day, she said, "Why do we have to be nice to each other on Christmas? Why can't we be nice to each other every day?" Lucy gets angry and storms off, leaving Linus free to settle back into the beanbag after saying, "Joy to the world."